TV people! I love doing that, folks. I still get dizzy as well. I can't master it. I need to learn the pirouette. Any ballerinas give me any tips, people? This video especially is a good example of why you need a contingency fund. It's a good example to find out at this stage. So after the rip out's been complete is the stage that you find the majority of the extras. So there's a couple of live examples in here, nothing major, but some live examples of the things that you need to look out for. So that's a good example of this video. It's also just a bit of a project update as well to see where we are and progress so far. So we're walking through this main door here. Obviously got all the electrics above me. And then as we pan around, so the site's been all tidied. As you can see, it's all been ripped down back to brick. This is a complete back to brick refurb, as you can tell. We've got some door frames behind me, some stud work's gone on. So this is a pub into 6 flats, so 5, 6 flats. So we can have a look around. So it's hard to show you too many flats because it's not quite done. We'll go through into this one. So this one's going to be flat 1. So as you walk through the door there, we're going to walk into this doorway here. So as we pan around, this here is part of the living room. And you can see the back part. So we've got bathrooms, store cupboards here. We're going to have the kitchen running along there. And going through to the topic of got carried away there with the music, folks. As we can see here, this is signs, telltale signs. We've got some black soot will go there. That's a telltale sign that we've got a chimney that's been removed in the past. Now on this particular property we've got quite a few because it's originally 3 or 4 terraced houses which has been converted into a pub. So I'm guessing this is a previous historic thing that's happened. But as you can see above me, we've got literally a floating chimney. There's nothing supporting everything up there, it's just floating, so you need to do something there. We can only quote for what we see, folks, and as you can tell, that was quite well hidden behind everything. There will be an extra there, so contingency fund number 1. Cha-ching!
Are you sure about that?
Sat there for a long time, but we need to make it safe. So there's number 1. The reason that you should have a competent builder or a good project manager or both on a project to try and save the client's money. From there to here, we've got a dividing wall because before we had done all this stud work here, this was one huge room. So if you imagine there's a bar in the middle here, pool tables, etc. So it's a big open plan room and we've basically got to divide the room into 2 to create 2 flats. So we've then got this dividing wall here. So as you can see, it starts there, these uprights go all the way along here. So this is the wall that's dividing this big space into two spaces. Originally, on the drawings, we've got a studded wall that's going to be the dividing wall, which we still have. And that's been designed with regards to fire regulations and sound regulations with the party wall between the two. So all done. Where we've come wrong, or where it's potentially gone wrong, is here, because this wall, this existing wall, see where the X is, X marks a spot. Going all the way across, again, X marks a spot. All this wall needs to come out completely. So again, going back to a little bit about the contingency with extras and stuff. This is part of that. So we need to remove all this wall. However, when we came to price the job, obviously this would all been plasterboarded and it was all a functioning sort of area. We've got bars. We've got part of the bar sitting in here and whatever else. So we couldn't see, there's no span of the joist through it. So from behind me, there, these joists, if you follow it down, goes down, and then if you can see, just beyond there, is another joist this side. So it's 2 joists going down, because that then sits from this wall and goes onto the outside wall. So rather than using one big span of timber, we've used 2, which is fine. But we didn't know that, so we haven't priced for it. So we thought, because this is above me is a flat roof, and I'll show you now just to prove it. So above me, as you can see there, got a flat roof, no building above it. So we're looking there, yeah? So we know what the roof is. There's no building above me, it's just a flat roof, this is. So we would have thought we could have just knocked this out, and it wouldn't necessarily be supporting. So this is obviously supporting the ceiling joists, which is supporting the flat roof above. So when we remove this wall, Obviously then this is going to fall because the wall is the thing supporting the middle of the joist because we've used two joists. We've got a couple of options, but you've also got to bear in mind, because this is flat, it's not in-house, you've got fire regulations and sound regulations and insulation regulations to comply with, as well as now structural issues loading this. So we've got a few variations. So the first variation was, well what we'll do is, because it's supporting, we'll use brick and block, because obviously that'll then take the weight. So then when we designed the wall to be able to brick and block, it would have been really strong and great. The brick would have given us the fire regulations that we needed, the fire separation, which would have been better. We would have had to amend the EPC bit, which is for the insulation, to put insulated boards on each side, but we could have made it work. But, and this is where a bit more technical knowledge goes in there, is it's all right, well, it's all well and good saying, yeah, we'll build it out of a brick and block wall, but that's got to be a really thick wall. Damn, boy, he's thick! Where you get a block, and instead of laying it this way, you would lay it on its belly like that. So it would then be as thick as that. And that would have given us the density for the sound, which would have been great. So it would have been a really strong wall, yes, complies with regulations, as in fire regulations, yes, and complies with sound. But it's because it's an extra, and I'm trying to get the client's best interests at heart, it then means we've got to look at other things, and that is, what's it all sitting on? Because the load that we've got pushing down is going to be onto the existing concrete floor. So how deep is the concrete floor? So the concrete floor, we know it's only 4 inches thick to 100 mil thick, which means a 100 mil thick concrete floor would not support the weight of the brick bally flat wall, and you've also got a little bit extra. So what you've also got in terms of weight pushing down, you've got something called point loading. So point loading is where you've got a lot of weight being pushed down on one point. Quite simple, you know, self-explanatory to a degree. So if you picture this now, that we've taken this wall out, it's all gone, and we've got a steel going from here, sitting underneath all these joists to about here on top of that brick wall, and then we've got another steel from there going to that brick wall, and then all this is removed. We've got one point, which is the middle part on the wall, which is where the load is, hence why we call it point loading. So with that one particular part, we've got extra load because that one point has got the weight of all this roof. Now it's not much, and because it's a brick and block wall, it's going to distribute it quite easily. However, it is more force, it's more newtons pushing down, which is then going to put more onto the concrete floor. So that would have been quite an expensive thing with regards to a brick valley wall, with everything else as an extra. But if we hadn't picked up on the fact that the floor wouldn't have taken it with the additional point loading as well, we would have been in big trouble. So it could have been digging it all out, digging a trench, putting a footing in there, and then building a wall. However, that's going to be costly. The other plan we've had is a timber framed house. There is a method we can support it using point loading. We can actually put a lump of timber in there. So what we're going to do is where the wall comes along to here, we're going to continue it into wood, and we're going to build a pillar inside the timber wall made out of wood, which we can then sit the steel on. So that saves digging up all the concrete, putting a strip in, and paying for a brickie, and the additional cost of all the bricks and cements and sand. We're going to continue with this with a little bit extra knowledge. We're going to make a pillar out of timber which will be strong enough to support the roof up here, the column down there, and it will still have the fire regulations, it will still have the sound regulations, won't have the weight that's implied, so that it will pass for the building control as well. But as you can see, it's not been done yet. We brought it to here because we were waiting for the structural engineer's design. I'll do another video once it's built so you can see what it actually is when this is taken out and the steels are on there. But that's the method we're going to use. Using a bit of noggin and having the investor's interests at heart, I've managed to save him quite a lot of money and got the progress going because the joiner has been in doing all the other stuff whilst I've been figuring all this out. So I've saved him lots and lots of pennies, people. And look at this, folks, our lovely site office. Drawings on the walls so the lads know where everything is. We've got a computer here. We've got crumpets. We've got pot noodles. Pot poodles, folks. Beans, tomatoes. Look at this, all the batteries. Spoiled these lads are, aren't we? This is better than home. But anyway, this is the site office. This is where it all happens. This is where the thinking goes on. Not that anybody is qualified to think. We've got things like the sign-in book. We've got the health and safety policies. We've got the RAMs there, the risk and method statements, the first aid kit, health and safety at work. We've got the F10, we've got the insurance, we've got the asbestos reports, a map to the local hospital. We've got everything in here. So we'll go and do some progress inside. So I've showed you a bit of point loading. I've showed you some extras that we found so far. Again, this is where your contingency fund comes in. I'm going to show you another little bit of things we found. So again, same scenario, where there was previously a chimney here. If you look, where we've got a repair going across there. So you can see that piece of wood from there, from the tickling sticks pointed out, folks, from there to there. And also on this
That's
one,
quite big.
I'm going to use my extension. So did you see the split that's in this joist here? That I've just showed you as a close-up. It's tried to be repaired there. So what they've done there is where they've previously removed the chimney, previous people haven't supported this, they've done a proper job. This needs to be better sized timbers and needs to be nut and bolted to make it strong. So the floor's bouncy upstairs. So again, we couldn't see this. This was already a previous thing done until we've ripped it out. So this is a bit of an extra, so shitting. That's why you need to continue, folks. However, what these extras are cost, I have more than saved with regards to that problem with the middle wall. So what's the return on investment on that, folks? This is going to be another flat. There's not much work going on here. So as you can see, we knocked the guts out of it. So as we come up the stairs, we're going to be taking that window out there and making it into a doorway. So as you come up the stairs, there's going to be 3 flats up here. So as we come into flat number 1, we've got Dangerous Rich. Look at this. So I'm currently stood in the living room. We've got an entrance there into the bedroom. So I'm now in the bedroom, and we put a lintel in there. We've done a cutout to go into here, which is now the bathroom. So it's actually not a bad size for a flat. So it's got a decent sized bedroom, decent sized bathroom. So this again is another flat. So we've got some amendments to do up here. I'm going to go through what the stud works for on the external walls in a minute. We've done some brick ups there and there. And then we're going to have a corridor where I'm stood, because we're also going to have another entrance into this flat. So as you can see, this is a decent sized flat. It's got a nice big living room. That there is the bedroom. That is the ensuite or the bathroom. But then this bit, as we turn around, we've put a lintel in there, and this actually takes up and utilises the space at the back of the stairs that I've just walked up. So there's a little bit extra space there. So we've squozed every centimetre out of this, folks. This is where the dodgy floorboards are. There's also knocks and whatever else on these timbers. So we need to do some remedial work to the floor to get them solid. And that will also help to comply with the sound insulation, the impact from downstairs. And then again, up here, this is another flat, which is going to go into another bedroom and another toilet. Enjoy this stairs, I've finished that one. Hope you've learned something there. A little bit of detail in there about point loading and about having someone savvy on site that can try and save you some money and keep the project going whilst we're thinking about things. There's lots more to come on this, folks. I'm going to do another video soon on what these external timbers are for, and soundproofing, etc., and insulation. But for now, that's it from me. See you soon.